Hi Stampers, I'm Meg from Loven Stamps, and for this Hearts Come Home project and Hometown Greetings Thinlits Dies showcase, we are doing a pop-up card that is a shadow box. So kind of show this to you up close. We have the hearth and home framelits on the front with a window, and then perfect to look through the window there and see our die cut. So this is a different set of cutting and scoring instructions than you might have seen before, and it's different than the ones that I've shared on my projects in the past. So when I was designing this card, I thought, I really don't want those flaps on the side, so let me give you the instructions for making this version, which still fits in a regular size envelope but doesn't have those flaps sticking out the side. Grab your kit and let's get stamping. Okay, so for this project, you are going to want to pull out the packet pieces here that are pre-die cut for you. You can set your directions aside, but if you need to refer to them, you certainly can. And the packet doesn't have anything pink in it yet because, of course, you're going to use your sponge brayer to do that. All right, because we're going to make our custom designer series paper. So let's go ahead and do that first. If you haven't used a sponge brayer before, you'll want to check out these tips. I am inking it by just rolling forward. Okay, not back and forth, just forward, or you could do just backward, whatever makes you happy. And then I am just running it back and forth on our designer series paper. And I love this paper. To me, it looks like wallpaper, kind of. So we just wanted it to be pink to go with our card. And I tried this with white, not brayering the background, and I found that our window just didn't stand out well enough from that. So that's why I decided that we should go ahead and brayer this. Okay, so that's good. Just keep brayering until you get a nice even tone. And then if you want to make those metallic snowflakes pop, you can just run over it one more time to remove any excess ink from the resist paper, the metallic resist. Okay. Now I'm going to grab our pool party card bases, and let me tell you about the sizes for these. There are a couple different choices. This piece is actually cut to 7.5 inches by 4 1/4 inches tall. And the nice thing about this is you get a full card front that will still fit in a regular envelope, and then you have 1 inch for your scoring on each end. And both these are cut the same. You can also do them a little bit smaller. So this is 6.5 by 4 1/4. It's still scored 1/2 inch from each end. So you're going to score it 1/2 inch and at 1 inch, and then flip it and score it 1/2 inch and 1 inch, no matter which size you're using. And then this piece here will just have a little bit narrower card, not the full 5 1/4 inches. So either way is fine. The next thing you're going to want to do is grab your hearth and home window and go ahead and position this where you want it to be, and use a pencil to trace inside the lines. Okay, then when you cut out, grab your paper snips, and you're going to cut around the outside of that line by a little bit less than 1/8 of an inch is probably good, because you don't want your the wall to show through the window on our card construction. So don't cut too big because you don't want to be outside the dimensions of the window frame, but you're going to toss that aside, and then you can double check your window. Yep, looks great. And then the next thing you're going to do is go ahead and position your brayered paper, and this piece is actually 5 1/4 by 4 to fit this larger size. For the smaller size, this piece of paper would need to just be trimmed a little bit. You'd trim 1 inch off the end, so this would be 4 1/4. Yep, 4 1/4 wide and 4 inches tall. So you just trim a little bit there. So either way is fine. I'm going to set this up on the front, but I'm not going to adhere it yet because I want to be able to remove it so that I can cut easily. And I'm just going to trace here on the back with my pencil, and then grab my scissors and cut here. Okay, and this is going to get cut just right around the edge of that line 2, since we know it already matches our window frame. All right, and then when you get done cutting, you're going to want to check it against the window, put your layers back together, and make sure that you got cut exactly where you needed to be cut. And you can save that for some fun extra project. Okay, so I'm going to layer this back on the front. Oops, there's my front. And check it with my window frame, and There we go. Yep, it's all clear. Okay, so now you can go ahead and attach your pieces here. And again, if you need to trim down your designer series paper to fit, you can do that. Either size will work great. Okay, so I've got that. And now I'm going to attach my window. You can use your Stampin' Dimensionals. You could also actually use the foam strips if you have some of those. A lot of times people use them for shaker cards, but they're so perfect for the edges of your window here. Those come in a package like this, the foam adhesive strips. And it's just great to have different kinds of adhesive on hand for whatever project you are working on, right? So I'm going to go ahead and trim a strip of that and place along the edge here. Okay. And then, let's see, I'll cut it on here. Do one more strip for the other side. And these are just a little bit thicker than the Stampin' Dimensionals. So you'll end up having your window pop up a little more in the middle if you do this. Or you could double your dimensionals so you end up with the same height, whatever works best for you. And then this window, get this out of the way, gets positioned right here on top of our wall. Okay, there we go. So for the card front, you also have this little pretty label, which is going to go with the All Hearts Come Home for Christmas stamp. And I'll grab that one and stamp this one here in pretty in pink. And I don't know about you, but I like to sometimes add just a little dot of snail on my stamps to make sure I get a really nice bond there. And the other thing included is this little tiny heart here, and I'll pop a mini Stampin' Dimensional on the back there and add that to the corner of our card. Okay, so another Stampin' Dimensional here to layer this on the front of our wall, and it'll peek out a little bit more if you have a shorter card. The other version that I showed you, the window will have a little bit more bubble in front of it, but this pretty label punch is a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying that. Okay, so now let's talk about this. I'm going to flip the inside over and kind of line these two up. I'm going to position between them my little houses so that I know where I want them to be. Okay, and then I'm going to hold them in place and take away my other front layer so that I can work with these, because I want to put the moon. So I'm going to ink this here. And remember, you don't have a ton of space with your window, so you can't stamp way out here and expect it to be seen. And then I'm going to add some stars in the sky. And again, so with such a tiny stamp, be very gentle when you ink and gentle when you stamp, so that you don't get the big smeary circles that come from like over inking your stamp. See how that's all inked around there? Okay, so if you're getting the shadows, just lay off just a little bit. And I'm actually going to just leave this here and put a strip of adhesive underneath it and pop that up. Okay, all right, so now we have our inside done and our front done. And now you need the magic for putting them together. All right, so what I'm going to do is on all of my ends, I'm going to fold that zigzag. Okay, so I'm going to fold it back and then forward. All right, so there's one. Let's see if I can get it to stand up. Nope, too much on the front. And then this one, I'm going to fold it to the inside and then again out. So if you want to think front and back, you can do that. If you want to think in and out, you can do that. Now, most of the shaker card or the Shadowbox cards that you'll see have these pieces adhere like this. You could do this if you want, but then there's like lots of extra layery pieces. It's a little bit thicker, and I think it's actually just a little bit too thick. So what we've designed for this one is you're going to nest them. Okay, see how I have put my zigzags together? So instead of adhering like this, I'm going to adhere like that on both ends. Okay, so we have them fitted together like a puzzle kind of, and then just a little bit narrower card, and then they close inside the card so you can put it in your envelope. Okay, and let's see, I'm actually going to do the safest way to get this to fit well in your envelope is to do kind of this direction. See how this one, the front is on the outside, the front is on the inside. Since they're scored the same place, if you put both of them outside or both of them inside, you might end up with kind of a buckle when you are doing your assembly, just depending on how you scored and how the pieces are cut. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use my fast fuse on one end to get the first part done. And make sure you kind of snug them up ahead of time so that you know how they're gonna fit. You can also use tear tape for this. And you want to, don't do that. Don't stick. You want to not do what I did. Okay, so I could totally edit this video and you'd never know that I did that, but I just want you to know that I goof up stuff too. So, all right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm lining up the first panel here, this center one, okay, and then I'm going to close on my second panel. Okay, that went much smoother. See, and now you know. All right. And then the end here, I'm going to add some adhesive and do kind of the same deal. So I'm going to go ahead and add my adhesive here. And actually this might seem safer. I might go ahead and do that one first. Okay, and adhere that before I adhere the second one. We'll see how that works. Okay, so get that all lined up. There we go. Oh, hey, that worked well. Okay, do that way. And then I'm gonna add my adhesive here for the second run. And since our card folds all over the place, we're just gonna encourage it to cooperate. I'm gonna add some more fast fuse there. And so that is my advice for making this new kind of Shadowbox card. And it stands up really nicely. It fits in a regular envelope, and it's like a card front. It doesn't have those side pieces on the back. If you want to write or side pieces on the side. If you want to write a message, you can write on the back. You could, you know, make a little cute message from the Lovens, blah, 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 on the front. Lots of different possibilities. So remember to check my blog for the pinnable directions to this card so that you don't miss out on those. And again, you can watch the YouTube videos many times as you like to get your tips. So let me know if you have any questions about this. If you'd like to request a Stamps in the Mail Club kit, make sure you visit my website and fill out the request form. And I look forward to sharing more projects with you soon. Happy stamping!